So today is what I'm calling the smaller projects. By smaller, I mean the projects that are not multi-million dollar construction. So that would be basically everything except new construction. And we just wanted to let you know where we stand on quite a few of these that we laid out to you as a church family, I guess some 2 years ago now, and where we've been. So first of all would be our debt. That was one of them. We did retire the debt, as most of you know. And that debt at the time, like literally 24 months ago, we had 1.65 million in debt. 5 years ago, we had 3 million in debt. So to be here today with, first of all, no debt, and then another 1.5 million or so in the bank is really remarkable. And all of that is because of your generosity and your sacrifice and your giving. So I thank you for that. And that has been a huge step for us just in the process of where we wanted to go as a church. The second are a couple remodels that we have done or are almost done with. The first one, of course, was in here. We spent a little bit of money, but a lot of time and a lot of volunteer man hours in this space, understanding that we weren't going to stay in this space forever, but we did want to refresh it a little bit. So a huge thank you to all of you that volunteered. This is about, I guess, 9 months ago now. A shout out to Pastor Rousey, who spearheaded that and did an awesome job. And then a couple hundred of you showed up throughout the course of basically a week, and we repainted the whole building and did some things with our panels, and we expanded our stage so more people could fit on here, and on I could go. So thank you for doing that. That's done. And then our remodel of what used to be our church office space, we're turning that into 3 additional rooms. That is almost done. So I'm very grateful that's almost done, because this is space that honestly we desperately need right now. With our Wednesday night program with Awana and the kids and the small groups, or even our school, like we are just out of space on a day-to-day basis. And so getting 3 additional classrooms is something that will be such a boost to us. And that's nearing the finish line. We still have a few months left, but we have already done the demo on that. We've done all the structural work. We've done the framing. We've put in a new HVAC unit. We've run all the HVAC system. We've done some roof work. The plumbing is in, the electrical is roughed in. So we're at a point where the inspector is coming and inspecting all of that work, and then we will be able to move on to what many would call the finishes. Your drywall, your carpet, finishing the electrical, those sorts of things. But we actually are headed downhill and are towards the tail end. So TBD on the exact timeline there. We'll say probably by the end of the school year that will be done. I do want to give a shout out to Brian Hazlett, who spearheaded that, and then to Dave Miller and Matt Osborne, who have helped him. We told you guys back in, I think it was September, that we weren't going to hire a company to come GC that and take care of it, but we're going to do that ourselves because it would save us easily $100,000, and it has. And it was just one of those that, like, we didn't really want more work or more things to do. No one wanted that on their plate, but it just made sense that we could be a good steward of funds and save some money where we could. And it's taken us a little longer because of that, but it's allowed us to save some money. So thank you to all of you who have helped with that. The third would be our live stream ministry. I came up a little early and they were there. I don't know if they were there when you guys came up the hill this morning, but when you came up, were there utility trucks at the bottom of the hill? Raise of hands. Okay, so I think there were. You may have been like, what are they doing? They were actually doing our live stream, kind of. So we have updated the infrastructure of our live stream, which is a beautiful ministry. We have hundreds of homes that watch live with us every Sunday. I saw actually this week, we had a record. It was our highest viewership ever on our Fox TV ministry. So if you don't know, we're on Fox every Sunday from 8 to 8:30. And that has continued to grow, but this last week, we had 2,700 homes that watched us with that. And that is all possible because of the live stream. All the live stream produces that. So we continue to see a lot of fruit there, but we've updated our firewall. If you're an IT nerd, you'll love this. I shouldn't call you a nerd, I'm sorry. If you're into IT, I shouldn't assume you're a nerd. If you're into IT, you'll love this. If you're not, you'll be like, who cares? But we updated our firewall, and then DQE is actually running a dedicated fiber optic line for our network that will be dedicated to our live stream, and then our Comcast network will serve as a backup. What that means in layman's terms is that if someone is having an issue with our live stream, like it's glitchy, it's not clear, it's buffering, it won't work, it would be almost impossible for it to be our fault at this point. It would definitely be on their end. In years past, it has almost always been our fault because just our infrastructure, our network was there, but it wasn't as reliable. So we put a lot of time and a lot of money into that, and we're thankful to take those steps. We also, in things that you would tangibly see, have updated some cameras, things like this mic. This mic sits here. This is an orchestra mic, but you never hear this in the room. This mic does not get fed into what you hear. This is so the live stream people can hear these violins, because otherwise they would never hear them. So we have some extra mics. There's a separate soundboard in our live stream loft where they are mixing the sound separately for the viewers at home, which just makes it a better experience and it makes it higher quality. So I could go on and on, I'll stop it there, but the bottom line is we told you we would take $50,000, we would invest it, and we would go up a notch. We have taken the $50,000, we have invested it, and we have gone up a notch. Not to say there's no more notches, but we've made some big strides there. The fourth is our missions. So we wanted to be generous in this capital campaign and not just do projects for us, but we also want to do projects for other people. And as most of you know, we give away about $300,000 a year to missionaries and to regional partners and to projects that we just shovel out the door. But on top of that $300,000 a year, we wanted to put an additional $200,000 through this capital campaign and bless some people. So just to review, we've spent a little more than $100,000 at this point. We have sent thousands of Bibles to some Ukrainian refugees. We helped another church who was in a building project, and we gave them $20,000 to help them with their building. We launched an adoption fund. We sent a team from our church to Honduras who built a children's wing for a missionary in a church there. We bought a ministry van for a missionary on the Indian reservation in Arizona. We bought a bus for a missionary in Honduras, and we still have about $90,000 left to invest. So that's been a huge joy just for me as a pastor and for our leadership team to be able to find some larger $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 projects and strategically just bless the fire out of some people. Like, it has been so much fun to do that, and I can't thank you enough for your generosity, because it has so many ripple effects, like literally around the world when you guys give. The fifth is something that you've never heard of until today, but I need to note it today, and then we'll be done. So first, let me headline the smaller projects. The headline on the smaller projects is we are either A, done with them, or B, really close to being done with them. So that means that we can turn our attention, our focus, and kind of all of our efforts to our larger construction projects, which is good, and you'll get an update on those next week. But there is one little wrinkle, and if you are willing to help us, we would love your help. I shouldn't call it a wrinkle, it's just something that we have to do. If you love to run a chainsaw and you love to cut trees, or perhaps you don't love to cut trees, but you need firewood every winter and you are willing to cut trees, then we are your people right now, okay? We will be putting more roof line on with a new auditorium, which means there's less grass to soak up water and there's more roof and the water runs off. We will be putting some additional parking, which means there's less ground to absorb water and there's more parking. All that equates to more water runoff. A huge shout out to anyone who was here and a part of the church when we first built this campus. I was not. I don't know if there was the building committee or Pastor Skelly or a group decision or what, but you all chose to build the water management system off of this property larger than it needed to be, which is such a relief to us right now, because our water management, runoff system, the drains, we have a retention pond over the hill, all of that is equipped really to handle the new construction, and we don't have to spend oodles and oodles of money updating or adding new stuff. So that is a huge boost to us right now. There is one thing we have to do though. We have to add what's called an infiltration trench. It's this little trench that diverts water and causes the water to take a long way to our retention pond. All that to say, we have to remove some trees before we put in that infiltration trench. The trees would be, if you're going down the driveway, on your right, kind of past, once you hit the fire pit and the gravel parking lot, those trees kind of right there on your right-hand side. That's something, we feel like we can do. It's also something that we have to do in pretty short order. We have submitted our environmental permit, or some call a site permit, so that we could have permission to do all of this work. And that's going really well. We're at the very end of it, and everything's in order there. I'll tell you more about it next week. But the environmental people got back to us and told us, I had no idea, but apparently there's a long-eared bat in Western Pennsylvania, and their mating season is between May and September, and they won't allow us to drop trees between May and September. So we need to get that done in March or April, because if not, we can't drop the trees till like October, and it would like literally delay our whole project like 6 months. So that is something that's important to us. We need to get it done, and we'd like to get it done in March or April. So that's a long, I probably gave you too much information. If I did, I apologize. That's a long way to say we need to cut some trees down in the next 2 months, and if you're willing to help us, we would take your help. That's it for today. I want to end just by saying I love you. Thank you for being like the world's best church, and I'll see you next week. God bless.